And you'll work in the stacked harmonies.
Yeah. Wicked.
7 seconds of
Great
awesome.
Okay, here we are.
Are we recording? Are we live?
We're day drinking with Shag.
Hey, welcome to episode 2 of Day Drinking with Shag.
Episode 2.
Coming live from the Lizard Lounge.
They said we'd never make it to 2.
Most podcasts fail at 1.
So,
That'll teach them. Question us.
Krash, what are we drinking today?
Oh, we have a lovely Helles Bock. I believe that's what we were drinking last time too, although this is a different keg.
Okay.
But it's a lovely German beer. We made, I think we made 4 of this one. So this fella right here is that's our capacity constraint. So we fill this guy pretty full.
Right.
And that generally gives us about 80 liters of beer.
Okay.
For our Imperial listeners, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Sure, fair enough. So
I do liters.
So
It's about that much.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. It's more than one sitting.
So I'm hearing that we have 4 more episodes of Helles Bock to drink.
That's what.
Is that correct? 4 episodes.
Only if
I
we
would say
record them
we
back to
have
back.
2 more episodes because we typically go through an entire keg per episode
Oh wow.
because we are day drinking. Yeah. I mean, things continue after we turn the cameras off, you know.
That's
No,
true.
it's hard to say because there's also the Marzen on, which we could dip into if we so choose.
Yeah.
But you know, keep drinking. We'll make more.
Okay, good. Yeah, always up for more. So hey, we're fresh off of the Bowie Ball. Yay,
Bowie
we
Ball
actually
2026.
we didn't do an episode last week because we were playing the Bowie Ball. Daj, you want to tell us what the Bowie Ball is about?
Bowie Ball is an annual celebration of life and fundraiser in honor of David Bowie, who passed away from cancer. And it's held in multiple cities. In Vancouver, it's the Rickshaw Theatre, and it sells out every year. I think this was the 11th year. 11 bands. This was our second time performing, so thank you for having us back. It's always a great
awesome
time.
Amazing.
A lot of great bands, 11 fantastic bands.
Superior organizing.
Holy shout out to the sound crew at the Rickshaw who turned those bands over so fast.
And everybody sounded amazing.
And some of the bands like us are huge, right? Like they're 8 to 10 people piece bands, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, wow,
It's
like
not
it
nothing.
was lightning turning over these bands.
Super professional. I remember, I think it was the very end of the show, one of the sound guys walked past me and he was having a great time. He was smiling. And he goes, "Hey man, that was great. You guys did a great set." He probably didn't even know who I was. I think he was just like throwing out compliments to everybody. But
I don't know. I sometimes wonder if they go, I don't like these guys, and I don't care if they know it.
Yeah, I wonder too. But they weren't having any of that at
they
the
were
Rickshaw
wonderful.
last Saturday. So just top marks.
So the hilarious way this whole event works is at some point they pick whatever bands, people say I want to do it, and they pick bands, and I think they try to pick new bands, some amount of new bands every year, right, just to keep it fresh and alive, which is so great. And then the organizer will tell you, on this particular day I'm just going to put up a post on good old Facebook and say go, and if you get your song choices in first, you get those songs. So I sit on Facebook all day going refresh, and it's it's been great. It's worked for me for the last couple times we've done it.
Yeah, we've gotten all of the songs that we wanted.
Both times,
So this year we opened up with Man You Sold the World.
Yeah.
Then we did Fame, Young Americans, and then Life on Mars, which was really epic. It was pretty epic.
I think it's become my favorite David Bowie song.
Really?
So.
And you didn't care for it the first time you heard it?
Well, I just thought it was a little too twinkly. But
epic.
Yeah, but don't listen to me on these things.
Yes.
It's
you got that
epic.
Mick Ronson tone though.
Oh man, it's just the guitar is so cool on that song. So cool.
Yeah, it was great. And so a bunch of the other bands that were playing, unfortunately I kind of missed the first couple because we were the 4th up, which meant we were sort of like gearing up and getting in costumes and stuff and stuff.
Gear up limbo.
So, but there was Disaster and Address, Roots Yard, Crushed Velvet. Then we went on, and by that time I don't think you could stuff another body in the entire rickshaw.
No, it was shoulder to shoulder.
What do you think the capacity is there?
I think it's around 600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
600? I would have gone 350, but
Oh, you know
no.
what? I'm thinking of the Pearl. Sorry, guys. I think it's actually it's more like 400-ish.
it's got
300 to 400.
bottom
so
level, then a top level
Yeah.
balcony. It's great though.
It
It's
feels
a really good.
it feels big.
It feels very big, and it's a superior stage. It's really great.
Super big stage.
And then after us was China Syndrome,
Awesome.
Star Collector, who I love those guys.
Super awesome.
They're wonderful. We actually went to go see one of their shows.
Was it an album day review?
Yeah, they had an album release that we went to, which was really great. And then
We bought the wrong album. We see this awesome cover, right? And we buy it and go, and then we see Vic, who's the lead singer, and we say, "Look, we bought your album." And he goes, "That's not our album. That's the opening act."
Nice.
And so we go, "Oh, well, I guess we're buying this CD too."
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great. It's great.
Just testing you, Vic.
Yeah. And man, they looked great up there too. He's got some great.
They got the moves.
He's got the moves, man.
Looks like a rock star.
Yeah, for sure. Then Cass King and the Cassettes.
Always a pleasure.
Who picked up Laughing Gnome because one of the original bands had to back out. Unfortunately, it was Brain Eater was supposed to perform, and
Long time Vancouver band.
Yeah, and was going to do
visual artist. We've got his a Bowie painting of his in our home.
That's correct. And in fact, we now have 3 Bowie paintings in our home from every single year of this event, which is a fundraiser. So they also have a silent auction. And 3 years in a row, I was up on stage going, "Yeah, baby, I won this!" And so, now we're like
any opportunity to storm a stage.
Yeah.
It's Trixie time.
So even if I got to pay to be there,
Might
down
cost me a couple honeys, but
and so now we're basically like a Bowie art gallery in our house. I think we're gonna start tours and start charging a couple bucks to come on in and.
I got 3 prints that will be hanging up in the Lizard Lounge probably for next episode.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then we had there was a costume contest, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Bombshells, which were like.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh!
They were the bomb.
They were. That's a great name for that band.
Yeah, they were
and that
super
we're going to talk about performance values today, and they really had amazing performance values.
You couldn't take your eyes off them.
Yeah.
No, and just the way they structured with the guitars and the basses, they were like pillars there, right? They were looking forward, like our Twaco Tonehammer, our bassist said, they're never looking at their fretboards. Right, they're playing straight out, and they're like these solid statues, which allowed the lead singer to have all this fluidity, which was just riveting. It was just a nice balance.
Yeah, so good.
Great stage presence
so
and stage design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Space Junk played.
They're cool.
And then the Van Rays, who we've done a show with. They're always amazing. We did a great show with them, and I love that band. I love their saxophone player. She's super awesome. And
I like that they leave them till late in the night too, because they have such a party vibe about them.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And
it really feels like the party's going off when the Van Rays are.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, for sure. And then the last band was the Walk-Ins, who we've had a little chat with back and forth, and
phenomenal performers.
Yeah.
Each one had their own persona. And it was so unique, but it was an eclectic mix, but it just worked beautifully.
One of my favorite bands of the night, for sure.
It wasn't like comparing them to the Village People, but they were like their own version of the Village People because they were each characters in their own way, right? Yeah.
Well, characters are persona, right? It depends. I always talk about do heightened reality.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go on stage, right? Be you. It's kind of like professional wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
For some degree.
Just like
that's really them, right? Yeah. But you
amp it up.
Amp it up to 11, yeah.
Yeah.
They were really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like what I like is when a band is either completely uniform or completely characters.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I love seeing a band come out in matching uniforms. I think that's so
the old
cool.
Osmond Brothers,
Yeah.
Jackson 5, Spinners, all that
It
early 70s, late 60s.
I know, like, the Motown bands were really good at doing that stuff. And to me, like, when I see a band walk out, like 4 or 5 people, and they all have the exact same suit or like whatever their costume is, I'm always like, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
You know, these guys have thought about their show. They've thought about how they're going to be perceived by their audience, and they're managing that perception, you know, and it's I think it's
it's production values. They're putting on a show, and they know they're putting on a show. I mean, there's great musicians, and they're out there, and all they do is they just play, right? And maybe you go to a jazz bar, right, where nobody's allowed to talk. We went to a jazz bar. I mean, this is a perfect first date venue, right? Because I don't have to talk to my date. In fact, I'm not allowed. We got shush.
I got shushed once at that Chan Center in UBC. You know, that really hoity-toity. I think it's called the Chan. Maybe I got the name. Maybe it's Chan Center. It's very like VSO, you know. And we were there to see these 2 flamenco Spanish guitar players, and they're amazing, right? And I don't know that style of music very well. I don't know like that technique or whatever. So I said, they go through their first number, and I said to my friend, I'm like, man, these guys are shredding, you know. These guys are something else. Shh. I'm like, what? You can't talk? And like we're like, okay, I guess you can't talk. Take notes.
Well, I can see it.
I don't know. Like
I can see it in like a theater setting. The jazz club thing really surprised me though, because we were in the back and the stage was really far away, and we were with another couple.
Drinks and food, and
we were just
having
like a mild, convert. Like I'm not like
right. I know, right? It's so funny. Like, 'cause I'm used to going to shows where you're in danger of being hit by a falling metalhead. That could happen at any time.
Sometimes you.
For sure.
What do you mean I can't talk?
Yeah, but I mean that's I like those shows where there's really good visual eye candy to see, and there's because it goes so much beyond the musicianship, right? It's like you can get those parts down, and you can get those numbers down, and you can be tight as hell, right? But at that point, it's like, okay, now put something interesting on.
Well, it really depends. Some people, I guess, that's what they want, right? I want to go see serious musicians.
I want to hear just like the record.
I want to hear, I want to hear, or I want to hear just like the record. And then some people go because they want to see a show and have a party, right? And if you're going to see a show and or have a party, then you better have performers that have that same value.
Yeah,
like the Alice Coopers, the Kisses,
Gwa.
What?
Gwa. As Sleazy P. Martini would say, gwa. Like there's always exceptions to every rule. Like I can't stop thinking about Rush, in this case, where, not like a huge stage show, lots of lights and it's cool. True. But, Geddy is like singing, he's playing keys, he's playing like the bass pedals, he's playing bass as well. And all at the same time, he's probably not going to be running around on stage. He's not hitting marks on stage. Right? He's
true.
It's enough what he's doing.
But their set design, at least the later
there's
tours.
still lots to look at.
Like, I mean, what was that tour they did where they start out, is it with a giant setup and then reduce it down to just a tiny kit?
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you look at the drum setup and all that, right? Like the 360 drums.
Oh, yeah.
That's showmanship, right? It's musicianship, but it's also showmanship.
On a different level. Yeah.
Right? It's saying, look how big we are.
I reckon you could sneak a couple of pieces out of Neil Pearce.
And he wouldn't notice.
He wouldn't have noticed it. Where's my 57th timpani drum? Throws me off on my big solo number. Anyway, great. Yeah. I love Rush, by the way.
Yeah. Well, there was some great outfits on last Saturday night at the Bowie Ball. There was a ton of, and it was great because it a lot like the previous years I've gone to that show. It was a lot of like literal Bowie costumes, right? This year, there was a lot of just outrageous outfits, which were
steampunk, cyberpunk.
Tons of really great stuff.
I like how people are incorporating LEDs.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like
that amps it up.
Yeah. That's kind of a Burning Man element. Isn't it?
Definitely.
You know,
because you got to be lit up at night.
Yeah.
I was definitely the winner of the costume contest. I was like, oh, that's totally a burner for sure.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, we had a good conversation with them. She designs her own costumes and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're saying we want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
we could have our first quiz. We could have our first podcast quiz right now. What in Burning Man parlance, what would you call somebody who's out at night with no lights on?
Oh. Wow.
Do you mean on their vehicle or on their bodies?
On their illuminating their vehicle, which is their bike, and their bodies. Those people are referred to as.
Please leave a comment.
Those people are referred to as Darkwads.
Okay. Darkwads.
And you will.
I guess we have our answer.
And you will get yelled at by people
for not being lit.
Yeah, light yourself up, Darkwad.
Because it's all about peace and love.
It's not a big peace and love festival. It's a lot of. There's a lot of aggression. So anyway, there. It's a sad day.
But 3 pickles.
As many pickles as you can have.
If you go to Crash's site.
Well, our old.
Because
I shan't return.
Retired.
No, I shan't return.
You got stuck in the mud.
Burn in the forest.
Time.
No, not the last time. The last time I had the best. I went in 2024, and it was my 7th burn, and it was my best one ever because the weather was amazing, and because we didn't run a camp. We used to run a camp down there, and that's too much work and too much responsibility and too much. So my friend and I just went down, and the 2 of us met some other friends down there, and had the best time ever. But I'm just not crossing that border. That's what it comes down to for me. I'm not going to get into those weeds, but getting rid of all my Burning Man stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you can burn up here.
You can,
We have regional burns.
It belongs on the stage. Somehow,
it's and Burning Man belongs to all of us.
Yeah. So performance values. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today, right? So
So let's start. Rock and roll.
Do you
meaning
have any
sex? Right?
Yeah.
And Chuck Berry with the duck walk. The first move, right?
So cool.
The first move. And people were copying that like
right up to like Ed Van Halen.
Yeah, I mean it's you'll still see it being used.
It's just classic.
So heads off. But really for me, and Jerry Lee Lewis. Okay. Jerry Lee Lewis abusing his piano. Like playing with his feet, jumping up and if you've never seen Jerry Lee Lewis in 1950s, check out some video because he's just like his nickname was the Killer. He always said, "I killed a man,"
That's all right.
Yeah, why not say it? But Little Richards.
Yeah,
Little Richard,
another guy.
Little Richard was
beat the crap. Don't lend that guy your piano.
Yeah, and also like I think the originator of glam rock. Right. I believe he may have done he became a preacher. I think he was a drag performer before.
No.
And but in the 50s you had to be really especially if you're black.
Oh my goodness.
He
may be the bravest man in America.
So first it was costuming, but you look at the evolution of him. You look at the size of his pompadour growing over the years, right? Like he really was the one I think who influenced, if probably Bowie and all those early rockers and Mark Bolan. Well, he was kind of like the rock and roll Liberace of rock and roll, right?
Yeah, it's the Liberace.
Liberace was for all the nice conservative.
Yes, the Las Vegas convention crowd.
Yeah.
Give him credit though. Like speaking of outrageous and just starting to muscle in on that or not, move in on that glam rock sort of aesthetic.
Well, for sure. And then, even through the Beatles, Brian Epstein took them from the leather teddy boy look to in those weird suits, but somehow it's you think of, okay. And then, I noticed the Stones. I was looking at some video. They were wearing 68. They were wearing weird face makeup and stuff. It's kind of they're trying to outdo the Beatles with their Sgt. Pepper stuff. And
Oh, that was great costuming. Sgt. Pepper was awesome.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Loved that.
Isn't it funny though to see like the evolution of like, you know, one band just takes it a step further and then somebody else can take it a step further, you know, and it has to start somewhere. And it starts with, you know, a bunch of nerds in suits with ties and, you know, and fresh haircut for the show tonight, right? And, and it ends up at...
But it's that value. We got to do something, right? It's like you mentioned Alice Cooper earlier. Like I remember hearing a quote in the 70s. He's going, because he was doing these guillotines and beheadings and monsters would come out on stage that were like 20 feet tall, it seemed. And he goes, well, look, anyone can buy a record and just listen to the record and get a better quality of sound. We want to put on a show because these people are paying money to come and see a show. So you better well put on a show. And that's what he, you know, was all about. And then, you know, Kiss followed that up and it just came this, you know, all the way to Gwar.
Yeah, all the way to Gwar. Alice Cooper has a very old, at this point now, autobiography called I, Alice, I think it was. And I read it when I was a teenager. So it's pretty old.
Right.
And it's such a great book if you can ever find it. I'm sure it must be out of print, but you know, who knows? If I could get my hands on it, I'd read it again, I think. But he talks about, you know, literally getting run out of town. Like No More Mr. Nice Guy is autobiographical. It's according to, you know, his what he says in his book and in interviews and stuff like that. Like his parents literally had to leave their town that they lived in. Yeah, like they were run out of town. You know, is that yeah. Well, Bible Belt America, you know.
So where do you know where he grew? Like, where did he grow up? Where was he? Where? Like
it was like, you know, Middle America, Rust Belt.
His father was a preacher.
Yes, he was. Yikes. Yeah, and then that leads, you know, like Kiss was such a man. When I was a kid, like Kiss was my first band. You know, I was like 8 or 9 or something, maybe even younger, and my older cousin introduced me to Kiss, and I just thought these guys must have been sent from outer space. You know, they couldn't be real. They were so much larger than life. Mm-hmm. And you know, up until that point, you know, in terms of like adult music, I was living in a little town in Ontario, and you know, it was country music. It was an old style country music, Hank Williams. And then along comes, you know, my parents' music, which was, you know, their friends would listen to like Genesis and Pink Floyd, and I always thought that's like adult music. And then I hear Kiss, and I'm like, that's my music. That's talking to me, you know. Right. Yeah. It doesn't have that veneer of you know, adultness. This is just like pure raw like rock and roll, and it was, to me, it was a revelation.
Did you send away and join the Kiss Army?
I did. I was a Kiss Army member. You bet. You betcha.
I remember seeing Kiss in the 70s. I snuck in a Super 8 camera. This was festival seating days before the was a Who in Cincinnati incident. Yeah. And so I was about 7 heads back from the front of stage, just in front of Paul Stanley. And he sees it, and he's pointing to me, and he's performing. Gene Simmons throws a pick from the other side of the stage. I see it out of the corner of my eye. It hits me in the chest, and the guy beside me catches it on the bounce. And he gets the pick.
And probably the reason he was throwing the pick at you is to show the road crew to go confiscate the camera.
That's what I figured that Paul Stanley was doing. Because back in those days,
you were not allowed.
You were not allowed, because Kiss was very big on the marketing. Still is, right?
Oh, they're geniuses when it comes to marketing.
You know, and I could have sold each one of those frames. I was going to sell each frame.
yeah. You
blow it up, right? You know.
Hold for 1 second, right there. Where's that little power pack? I think. I was going to talk about something kind of fun, which was...
Just thanks to our sponsors.
Thanks to our sponsors. Fill in the blank. Please sponsor us. Please, anybody.
Somebody sponsor us.
Throw us a freaking bone here.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to talk about a band that I only kind of recently discovered in the last couple of years as somebody who I think like wins the grand award of rock theater, musical theater. And I only discovered them recently because one of my other favorite bands, who at at one point I will do like an entire episode on Nina Hagen. I love
Nina Hagen,
so
right on.
She did this song called TV Glatzer in German, and I just was like, this is like the coolest song. And one day I finally looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's a cover of another song called White Punks on Dope by the Tubes.
Oh!
So, I look up the Tubes and I see this performance they do in 1983 in San Francisco, and I just like, my mind was like totally blown. So the Tubes, their lead guy is a guy named Fee Waybill, and apparently Fee is short for Fiji because he had this like big giant curly hair, so they called him Fiji, and then it got shortened to Fee. But he started out as a roadie for a band called the Red, White, and Blues Band. But he wound up having to sing all the bass players' parts because he would like fail to show up for rehearsals because apparently he was like just smoking dope and
he was a bass player.
And so then they merged with another band called the Beans, and then that became the Tubes. And so Fee Waybill performs as all these different characters all the time, and one of them is the crippled Dr. Strange Kiss, country singer Hugh Heifer, punk parody Johnny Bugger, and the one that
Johnny Bugger.
If anybody knows the Tubes at all, they'll know Quaalude, the best. And he always performs his character in these like ridiculous 2-foot platform heels, like they're like Kiss kind of style stuff, right?
Right.
So. This one concert, you can find it on YouTube. It's great. 1983, the Tubes in San Francisco. And when they do this song, he comes out in this like Edwardian kind of style costume, of course, with the 2-foot platform boots, and he's got like people helping him down the stairs.
Wow.
And then halfway through the song, it's like there's like an earthquake on the stage, and there's stuff falling over, and there's all these supporting characters on stage who like help him get up, and he's got his giant wig on, and it's insane.
God, awesome.
At some point, like at the end, there's like a Pulp Fiction gimp kind of character even on the stage, like totally in the like it's just totally mayhem and fantastic. And then instantly the next song they do is She's a beauty, one in a million.
Well, someone's got to pay the bills,
And he's all of a sudden now he's in like the old school red and white stripy carnival barker outfit.
Transitions.
Like, it's total rock and roll musical theater, right? Like, and I'm just like, it's chaotic and wonderful and incredible. And so, yeah, I totally like them in terms of like, a show, putting on a show and
pretty under the radar band
where they go. And here's a fun fact. I just learned that Fee Waybill was actually one of the most 3 important people in the world in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I saw for the first time.
I went, what do you mean you haven't seen this movie?
I feel like everybody should know that.
Yeah. So
we're gonna start spreading the word right here.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna see this. So yeah, he was. If you're watching the television, he's the guy on the right hand side.
In the wind.
Dust in the wind.
Cheers to that.
Wild Stallions.
And then I realized, I was like, I know I've like my sister, I'm sure she's seen the Tubes. And in fact, she did, because the Tubes opened on the Serious Moonlight tour for Bowie and Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
So
the Tubes opened for the band that opened for David Bowie.
Still.
Right.
Huge
so
honor.
it was the Tubes.
The Tubes, Peter Gabriel, at least in Vancouver.
Wow.
And then Bowie. And Peter Gabriel in Vancouver introduced that by saying, he comes out on stage, he goes, I'd like to thank the Vancouver Coast Guard for rescuing me. And I went, well, that's an interesting but kind of a quirky. And then I find out he was windsurfing on English Bay.
Yeah.
Got taken out and was clinging to the buoy and the day of the concert. and the Coast Guard comes and rescues him, so he gives them backstage passes.
Outstanding.
And so if you were one of those Coast Guard people in Vancouver, please let us know.
The
in the comments below.
The only way to make that story better would be if the SeaBus rescued him. Again, because I always want the SeaBus to change its slogan. I don't think they have a slogan, but I think they should have a slogan, and I think it should be the SeaBus. Is there anything it can't do?
It's true. Yeah.
The SeaBus is a little ferry that takes people between North Vancouver and downtown Vancouver.
Yeah.
It's just a little pedestrian ferry, and come to Vancouver, ride the SeaBus.
Yeah.
You won't regret it.
Yeah.
You will not regret it.
It does one thing, and it does it very well.
It knows its job.
Yeah.
12 minutes from here to there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that's my I like the high theater stuff, I think, because my mom, to her credit, when I was 11, she was like, you need to be in musical theater, and so she got me to audition for this musical theater company in Regina, and so I did. By the time I was 17, I had done 11 full-scale musical productions. And so, like, Fiddler on the Roof and Gondoliers and Guys and Dolls and, like, Annie Get Your Gun, so many. Like, I did so many of them. So it was, like, all about the costumes and the makeup and the ridiculous overacting and all of that kind of stuff.
Your mom created a monster.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. So, yeah. So that's I think, where I got that appreciation from. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like rock music, like we do small scale stuff, but we're very theatrical, like literally getting into costume changes on stage.
Yep.
To sort of open the curtain. Here you get to see it instead of the quick change artists like in the stadium tours, but the off stage. But off stage, on the big stadium tours, it's spectacle, right? And it's interesting that sort of over the course of my life, I've seen it go from Alice Cooper in the 70s, where he's putting on theatrical stage shows, like with big, big things happening. And now what you're seeing more of is it's all lip syncing and dance, like Vegas kind of dance things. I think Michael Jackson kind of shifted it so that people wanted to see the synchronized dancing and that whole image. And they don't care anymore if you're lip syncing. They'll say, well, of course they're lip syncing. Who can dance and sing at the same time? Yeah. Whereas ELO got sued. ELO got sued for doing that back in the 70s, right? And
I know choreographer is now like a very important job.
Hugely. Believe it or not, Walk Like an Egyptian, when we do that song, I am so winded by the end of it. Like, just to be able to move and dance and, sing at the same time, like it's almost impossible, right? So when I think back to those crazy, like, Madonna productions and stuff, I have way more appreciation for them now than I did back in the day.
But if they're actually singing to a backing track, like so much, like this whole idea of backing tracks, I have a huge issue with that. I would rather see, the Beach Boys or the Stones in the 70s croak out some songs with some errors, than to hear everybody playing to a record. Because that's essentially what people are doing now.
It started with click tracks, then it became backing tracks, then it became like just lip syncing.
Like you're not seeing live music.
No, and I think you're missing the whole point of live music, which is that anything can happen. Like things can go wrong, and that's part of the thrill. Yeah, like, that's part of like the fun of it. It's fun, and maybe is the wrong word, but it's part of the thrill. Yeah, and you take that away, and what are you really doing?
In our band, if Guy, Gene, our drummer, decides this song is going to speed up, the song's going to speed up.
Right, no
right?
Track.
And we're going to follow him, right?
It's more likely to slow down, but
But
guy gets winded.
We'll get him on for a rebuttal on that.
He's like the youngest guy in the band.
Sure. Hardest job though in terms of
hardest job.
For sure. Yeah. But the other thing is like I've always kind of thought if you're putting on a show and you're physical and you're entertaining, like people aren't really attuned to the minor mishaps that may be going on in any event. Like people don't really hear it. And the other thing I would just on that point, little sidestep, I would say, if you're in a band and you're playing live and you make a mistake, don't apologize for your mistakes. Don't acknowledge that they even happened.
No.
They're not mistakes. They're just diversions that you're taking the audience on.
Yeah. I was guilty of doing that. We played a show just after Christmas time. And in the middle of course, the little guitar solo melody thing, I broke a string.
Oh.
And I never break strings.
That's...
But it was all like... And it was my G string, and the 80% of the melody was on the G string. I tried to shift positions, and it was like, oh my god, awful. You're like I'd rather be off by 2.5 notes than a half step. It sounds so bad. And anyway,
that's a different.
I had to
Just throw a few.
I had to go, hey, I broke a string. I know how to play this thing. Sort of. Kind of, but no, yeah, totally, And what is the saying about how people hear? They hear with their eyes.
Oh
yeah, people hear with their eyes.
Yeah, people hear with their eyes. It's a funny thing. Like, I'll bet you if you canvass people at the Bowie Ball and said, like, name your top 3 bands, one of them would be the Bombshells. Yeah. And one of the reasons would be the Bombshells is because you couldn't get your eyes off them. Yeah. What songs are they playing? Well, I don't remember, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
well,
exactly, awesome. Right? It's that visual spectacle it was just so, it just totally drew you in so much. And, I mean, the lead singer was, the central focus, right? But she was so physical and just really moving around. And as you were talking earlier, the guitar player and the bass player were total pillars, not shoegazers. They were not staring at their shoes. They were focused out to the audience, looking. They knew their parts, and
that was another thing. The walk-ins.
They were doubling as security.
It's stage presence, right? And just the way that people, it's improv, right? So whereas the walk-ins, I noticed that the bass player and the lead guitarist were working in unison so that you could see that they're framing the lead singer, and when a lead happens, all the focus is happening at the right place.
God, that's another thing. That's the little details,
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
I saw wow, his name is totally escaping me. I can't even. Adrian Blue. We went to Adrian Blue with Jerry Harrison
from the
Talking Heads. I don't know, 2.5 years ago, something like that. And they had this, their opening band actually wound up being the backing band for Jerry Harrison and Adrian Belew. And they had this really cool thing they did on stage that I loved so much, was that every time somebody did a lead, the whole band turned to face that person. You were like intentionally putting focus right on.
Yeah, it's like, don't look at me.
Adrian
don't look at me. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. I mean, it's all about putting on a show. I mean, I remember being in grade 2 and Renee Prestis, my neighbor, next door neighbor, we wanted to put a show on in her garage, right? Like Our Town, right? I think we were watching the old Our Town thing. So let's put a show on in the bar, and I tried to do a magic show.
It's like a Little Rascals episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And we're still doing it.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you. Please come out to a Shag the Band show and
to see our multiple.
Dress up silly in your heightened reality.
Yes.
Dig into your tickle trunks, and
it's very freeing. It's very liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always think you want to model the behavior you're hoping the audience to do.
Yeah,
so if we're silly and ridiculous and we don't care and we're having a great time, hopefully we can find an audience that wants to do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll just close it out by saying 2 nights ago, I watched a 50-minute documentary about Gigi Allen. And so you don't want to attract that crowd. And it's for those of us out there who know Gigi Allen.
No.
No.
Well, maybe we'll talk about Gigi Allen.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for today's episode.
Well, hey, and if you've got any comments you want to make about your favorite stage performers or what you think makes for a really good live show, email us.
Give us some pointers.
Yeah, email us, and if there's a comment section on wherever you're seeing this in the interweb, please leave a positive comment. If you leave a negative comment, we will delete them, but we will read them. but there's enough negativity in the world, right? It's like,
keep it to yourself.
Yeah, constructive criticism.
Go listen to something else.
Where it'll probably disappear off.
Constructive criticism, good, right? Corrections are always welcome, right? Corrections are welcome.
Yes, please.
Yes. But it's shagtheband.ca at gmail.com.
And on the web.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
We did it.
Day drinking.
Okay.
Day drinking.
Day drinking. Day drinking. Day drinking. Day drinking with Shag the Band.
Point, like at the end, there's like a Pulp Fiction GIMP